Hey everybody, it's Stacy with Misguided Road Trips, and today I'm so excited to go where this road trip has taken us. This is actually a cemetery located right next to my hometown. It is the second oldest city in the United States, St. Mary's, Georgia, and the cemetery is Oak Grove. It has a lot of history here, a lot of people who actually founded this town, who made it what it is. This cemetery is known to be haunted. There is an angel here that is said to be haunted. We're going to see that. There are shadows, there are voices. They have many, many stories that I can't recall all of them, but I do know some of them, and I do know I have witnessed scary stuff. This cemetery is one of the reasons why I do what I do now. Now, it is daytime. We cannot come in the cemetery at night. And actually, because of all the paranormal investigations that have been done here, they've started putting up cameras, and if they see anybody in the cemetery after dark, they notify the authorities will come up. Now, one thing I'd like to say, I have been out here 7 times trying to film this cemetery to bring to y'all. 5 of the times that I filmed this, when I got home, the videos were blank all the way through. There was not one picture, nothing. I've spoke to officials, I've spoke to other people. There's no reason for it to happen. They don't know what is happening, so we're trying it again. But I did have some paranormal investigators tell me that could have been spirits messing with the camera, drawing energy, and making it where my camera wouldn't record. So we're going to try it with my new camera and see how it works. Hopefully, we'll see here. Get some pictures today. Alright guys, well here we go inside. Now, what you are looking at right now is one of the really old parts to the cemetery. This was at one time a segregated cemetery, and if you see off in the distance, there is a brick wall. That wall represents the division between the so-called white side and the so-called black side. That is how they used to bury people, and there was so much going on in this town until I have showed you an Indian cemetery. It's been a long time ago, but it was the Acadian cemetery, which also consisted of a group of Indians. Oh, I can't remember their name, but they were later known as the Creek Indians. And they were actually the first settlers of St. Mary's when St. Mary's was a territory. They were buried in a separate cemetery altogether. But I'm trying to find the year on this. 1805. That's an old one. 1805. But they wouldn't even let them be buried here. Later on, it was said that if they hadn't have created the territory, nobody would have known about it. So some of the higher-ups made the decision to exhume those Indians' bodies and bring them over to Oak Grove and bury them properly. So they are buried now over on the so-called white side. I don't really like to refer to it as sides, but it is what it is, and it is, you know, the past. So, but there are numerous That was a child. Numerous people from all parts buried here. And if you think about it, St. Mary's was actually known to be brought about by the Creek Indians first. The Spanish came in after settling in St. Augustine. They came to St. Mary's, so there was Spanish. The French Canadians came in, and they're the Acadians. They came in and are buried here. The British came in. You know, there's every kind of race and nationality you can think of buried in this cemetery. That's what I was trying to get to. Now, there are a lot of unique graves. You will see numerous types of graves here. You will see numerous types of headstones. There's so much to see out here. It's kind of just piques your interest up at some of the historical value out here. $1901. Wow. Three years old. Haven't ever seen a grave like that one before. These walls were done a lot of times for plots for the family. They were also used to mark off mass graves. This one's 1852. $18.15. There are some people walking behind me. Died at New York, 1817. 1804. There are a lot of older graves out here. The town itself was founded in the 1600s. They did not actually, they put in for it and signed all the paperwork for the town in 1792, but it was 1802 before the town actually was known by the government as a town. So a lot of these people that we're seeing their graves that are in those earlier years were some of the first settlers. Can't even tell what year that one is. $18.15. $18.22. George Reese. Over here is our Confederate soldier section. These are all mainly men who fought in the Civil War on the Confederate side. Now, I was out here one night with a paranormal investigator. It was a very still night. Nothing going on. All the flags started waving. There was no breeze. And when I saw that, it really kind of shocked me that all of these flags would just start waving. There were several of us that saw it, and it stayed that way for a while. It wasn't like it was just them waving real quick and falling back down. That's one of the things that got me interested in the paranormal. There's a lot of them that need to be picked up. The graves themselves, the tombstones are so old. Can't really see anything. I have reason to believe that tree probably wasn't there when the grave was put there. I feel like I hear footsteps behind me. (1840) Susanna Stevens. Elizabeth Sherman died September 18th, 1814. If you're interested in really old graves, and most of them are in pretty good shape. This one is July 1842. I believe that is 1890. I can't tell the date on that one. (1882), A.S. Wright, Curtis Wright, 1876. He was born February 11th and passed away February 13th. 2 days old. 1870, I think it's just 1870. Can't read that one. These little above ground graves was one of the ways that they really chose to bury a lot of people back then. There's some more over here. You see quite a bit of them in the cemetery. That one's March 30th, 1847, Mrs. Mary Sadler. Henry Sadler, a native of England, but for 41 years a citizen of the United States. Died in 1828. Henry Robinson Sadler, 1851. Mary Jane Sadler, eldest child of Henry R. and Catherine Sadler, passed away 1823 at 2 years, 2 months. Go over on this side. This is what I'm saying. There's so much to the cemetery that it's not easy to do it justice. It's just not easy to do it justice because there's so much. John Dilworth. John Dilworth was very well known around these parts. There was one man who owned 20 acres of land, and once the town of St. Mary's became established, he ended up selling an acre to each of his friends, and then they were basically the holders of the land, and they can make the decisions. And I forget which one, Nathaniel Green, I think. I may be confused, but even signed the Declaration of Independence. He was one of the 20, and this gentleman whose grave we're looking at was also one of the 20 that held on to a big portion of St. Mary's to control everything. I'm going to come over here and do a little bit on my spirit box. See if we might pick up anything while we're out here. So let me sit y'all down. I'm going to face y'all out so y'all can see. Now I'm going to get my spirit box out. Now if there's anybody out here who wants to speak to us, you can speak to me through this little box I have here. And I think we'll be able to hear what you were saying. Okay, I'm getting ready to turn it on. Okay, guys, here we go. Is there anybody out here? How many of you are there? Is it any of the founding fathers of St. Mary's with us? Can you tell me your name? Are any of you victims of yellow fever? Is there anyone out here who died in the wars? And my name is Stacy. Can you tell me your name? Sounds like there's a lot of you out here. How many of you are there? Do any of you see me? Thank you. You the ones who haunt this place? And it doesn't sound like many of you want to talk right now, so maybe we'll come back and talk in a little bit. Thank you for talking to me. Bye. I don't know that we got a lot of responses. It seemed like we did get some, but it just didn't seem like they were wanting to talk that much. So, alright, let's see what else we can look at. This is Colonel John Patterson. Born in Philadelphia, state of Pennsylvania, fell victim within a few days of each other to the yellow fever of 1801 at St. Mary's, state of Georgia. Wow, 1801. And this is here because he fought in the Revolutionary War. So, Colonel John Patterson. There are a lot of graves out here that are like that. Dr. Daniel M. Cormack. Simon Littlefield. Here's another one of these walls. George Williamson. And his grave is in there. Like I said, some of these walls are here because they're mass graves. Some of them are just family plots. Some of them don't have any type of anything on them, like this one. There's no tombstone, so you don't know if these are like a mass grave or if nobody's buried there, or maybe they are and their tombstone was messed up, so there's no trace. This is John Batchelor. He was very big in helping with the starting of St. Mary's. I believe he is possibly the one who owned the 20 acres and sold them to his friends. Also in the Revolutionary War. I can't make that out at all.
That one is bad.
Yep. Cliff just walked up on me, guys. He snuck up on me. Yeah, this is a memorial to the Revolutionary War patriots. You can see how many of them
are buried here. That's a pretty large amount for such a small town, you know.
The sad thing is, if you notice by each of these ones with asterisks. There's very few of them.
What's the asterisk mean?
That means marked gravestones. So that means the rest of them
are unmarked.
Are unmarked.
Oh.
They know that they're buried, but probably don't know where they're buried at.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's sad. Either that or they don't have the Revolutionary War monument on them.
Oh, I see.
So it could be either one of those. Yeah. Jeremiah Bowen. My mother. That's all it's got is my mother. The rest of it all faded away. This one looks yellow. John Brown, 1837. This was actually where I'd seen my oldest tombstone, and I believe it's in one of these brick walls. It was from 1802 until we went to the Sheldon Church, where I seen 1755. There's some old ones. Let me take y'all over to the resurrection angel. Now, it's a crazy story about the resurrection angel because there's 2 graves in this plot, only 2 graves. And one of them, when the man died, despite what the wife wanted, his mother and father decided to bury him somewhere else. Well, his wife went and hired someone to go dig up his remains and bring them here and have them buried. She created this monument, and that would be Frank Page right here. 1859 to 1893. She put this angel, and after the family found out that she had moved the remains, she put the angel, saying that the angel was taking care of him and watching over him here so that no one would come in and mess with him the way she did. Now, over here, the second grave is Camden Sheffield, but nobody knows why his grave is in here with this man. There's never been anybody to tell of why these 2 are buried together. People don't even think these 2 men knew each other.
Well, they could have.
I say there's a story there.
They died 4 years apart?
Yep.
And
he
only
was
10 years
10 years difference in age. It might be the woman who dug this husband up might have liked that one too. I'm not sure. She's got them both watched now. Here's some more older graves over here.
Well, I wonder where she got buried.
I don't know. That's a crazy story. And why she wasn't buried with him.
Or them.
Yeah, with them. Yeah, over here, this is the tomb of the Acadians. Acadians were drove out of Nova Scotia and really treated bad, and they came down here to start a new life. They got to St. Mary's and did that, and they had this place pretty much going as a little port, and got along with people great, but yellow fever came in and claimed most of their lives. So this is attuned to them and some of their headstones. These
were the original Cajuns.
Yep. They were called French Canadians at first, and then they had the name Acadian for their tribes, but they ended up being switched over to Cajuns, being called Cajuns.
A lot of them went to Louisiana, moved on to Louisiana.
Yeah, some of them did go.
This is where they initially came in and settled.
The gate's locked up on it, so you can't get in, but some nice rosary beads. Mary Bailey, born February 1830, died August of 1857. Wow. This one's one I always question because there's nothing, and I don't know if it's a mass grave. And I believe the next one over is that way too, if it's a mass grave of family members who died because of yellow fever. Because there's nothing in them. Walk down here. I know I can't get out, but that's 1839, 1802, I believe, 1810. Wait a minute. I can't read that one. I don't know. This one's in French. Yeah, I'm stuck in here. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this trip to the Oak Grove Cemetery and saw some of the older graves, the historical graves. I don't think anything really spooky happened, but that's not to say it doesn't happen out here because there are a lot of stories. Anyway, hope you liked it. If you did, hit that thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, and do all that YouTube stuff. Alright, until next time, I'll see you then. Bye.